Minded Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast, NBA Playoff Edition. I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And it's our basketball podcast. We recap, break down, and analyze players and teams from previous games, previous day. Ja. The big game 7 happened last night in the afternoon around 3 o'clock. What can I say? I didn't lose hope. I didn't lose faith. I stuck to the grind, no matter what history told me, because if I was basing off history, I would have been a fool. I stuck with the Clippers, and it paid off in the end. The Los Angeles Clippers, the only team playing in Los Angeles currently. So technically they are, the best team playing in Los Angeles currently because they got the job done. Them boys in LA, not the defending champions, but the other boys in LA. The guy, the 2-time Finals MVP, the All-Star and future Hall of Famer, a championship head coach with a 2-time champion as well, and a great team all around. And they got the job done, Ja. They got the job done in that game 7. And let's break it down. Let's go through it. First half was big for Luka Doncic, of course. His first game 7, and he was balling out. He was balling out in that first game 7. Doing it all for the Mavericks as he's done for most of the series. Meanwhile, for the Clippers, it was Kawhi Leonard. He showed up.
Yeah.
Mostly in the first quarter, but Terrence Mann.
Yeah.
Stepped up big time for them. You're going to need these guys to come up big. These role players come up big, especially in a game 7. And the Clippers found themselves up, but right after halftime, the Mavericks just went on a lightning run, 7-0 run to follow that up. But then right after that, the tide turned. The Clippers, right after that run by the Mavericks, went on a 24-4 run. It was 3-point shooting. Marcus Morris had his best game of this series because he's been struggling. Reggie Jackson, who had another great game in this game. Kawhi Leonard, as I mentioned. Luke Kennard as well, stepping up big time for threes. Also on the defensive side, the Clippers stepped up defensively when they needed to.
Yeah.
The Mavericks went cold. They went cold. Luka, down the stretch, he really didn't play that well. Down the stretch, almost similarly to how Game 6 ended up. Great start, great first half. Then when the Clippers started to get going, and when it started to get, a little bit late, even though in this game, like late, he got it going again. But really down the stretch from that after halftime, Luka couldn't create magic.
Yeah.
And as gotta give credit to the Clippers defense because they really stepped up in that 24-4 run, which eventually led them to winning the game because of that run. Even though the Mavericks did try to get back into that game, Luka tried to create some more magic late.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit too late. Reggie Jackson hit that 3. And Clippers take game 7. They moving on.
I guess
apologize. Let's get that out of the way first before you say anything.
I guess the ugly sister got a massive blow.
I don't want to hear that. Apologize.
I apologize for losing faith and doubt in the Clippers. And They should have been in the game 7. Come on.
Oh, now they should never live in the
They
game.
should never been in the game 7.
Oh my God! But you gotta give credit to Luka. You gotta give credit to Tim Hardaway. You gotta give credit to the 3-point shooters on the Mavericks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You right.
Well, speaking of that, well, actually, now I'm gonna let you speak because I already spoke. So let us.
Angeles Clippers, I would like to apologize for losing faith and doubting you guys the moment you guys lost your first 2 home games on the floor. But I should stick with you guys because, it is a 7-game series and it doesn't end. You guys are the more talented team. But, hey, if there's one thing for sure, there's 2 things for sure that I took out of this series here. One, the Clippers have had a massive upgrade. They glowed up, because now they're the only team in Los Angeles playing that's surprisingly not called the Lakers right now in the postseason. And 2, no matter who's the more talented team, the best player throughout this whole series is on the losing team, and that's Luka Doncic all the way. He was the best player straight up throughout this whole series. And who the worst player is? 7'3" Kyle Kuzma. Yeah.
All right, come on, man. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that to Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, come on, man. Leave that man be. You already got enough to deal with in LA. Come on, man. He plays for the Lakers, so he got to deal with Lakers fans, and he plays with LeBron, so he got to deal with LeBron's fans. Dealing with both is enough. Like dealing with one is enough. You got to deal with both.
Yeah, you right. My bad. But yeah, man, Luka was just supremely. Just look at the stats, though, man. Look at the stats. Look at the stats that this dude put up throughout this whole series, man. It's just beautiful stats. Like, didn't he have a triple double like in the first 2 games? In the first 2 series, and he was just toying this whole, again, a great defensive team. He was just toying with this whole team by himself while smiling. I'm going to put emphasis on that each and every time. The dude was smiling, putting up a 40-plus point triple-double.
Oh, yeah. Luka was dominant.
But, again, I apologize. The Clippers are the more talented team. They are the better team. They just let me down with the way that they underestimated their opponent.
Well, I don't think I think Luka just took it. I mean, Luka was doing everything. And Luka was doing everything for most part of this game, too. This is really that third quarter that he couldn't do nothing. And when he does nothing, the Mavericks don't do anything. Because Mavericks offense run through him. And even though he still had a great game, I mean, he had 46 on the night.
Yeah.
I mean, he did everything that he could.
While smiling.
Yeah, so while smiling. 46 and 14. I mean, he did everything he could in this series. He only really had one bad game. And that was in game 5 or game 4. What was it? Game 4, I think?
It was game 4.
It was game 4.
Yeah,
it was game 4. Yeah, that was the only bad game he's had in the series. Every other game in this series has been good to great, or great to amazing, I should say. He's been that spectacular.
Exactly, and that game was because the fact he had, I think, neck problems. I think it was like a neck spasm or something like that held him back, and he bounced back so quickly. The dude bounced back so quickly. And he won the game. That's what.
Yeah, Luka
smiling.
Even though he didn't play the best down stretch in this game, that's because the Clippers defense that tightened up and played great defensively late in this game. He's been amazing throughout the series. But something that you alluded to that I think we should go more in depth. Someone who hasn't been amazing in this series, Porzingis. I don't know. I mean, he had one of his better games in this game.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of Porzingis. Like, sometimes he just always settles for jump shots and settles for threes. I mean, when everything else from inside, he was great in this game. But he didn't make a single three. He was 0 for 5. And he does that a lot. And he has not been playing well at all in this series. If he played better, the Mavericks win this series.
Yeah.
But he played bad. Throughout the whole series, he played bad. I think that should be talked about more. But if Paul George played bad, everybody want to get on him.
Yeah, that's true. But that's this context behind that, though. This context behind why PG's are all-world skill talent. Like, he's been doing this for a long time. He's been in the league for a while now. He's just been he's been doing this since day one. Don't get me wrong. Porzingis he's an all-world talent himself, but I don't know, man. He just hasn't really been himself throughout this whole season, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, he has had spurts, but
that's true. Yes,
we hold PG in a more high establishment than do Porzingis. So I could understand that, but
maybe because he's been battling through injuries the whole year, but he has to play better.
Yeah,
he just has to play better. Otherwise, the Mavericks, they still did have a chance with him playing bad.
Yeah.
And that's due to the credit of Tim Hardaway, who stepped up, who was the second best player on this team.
Yeah.
Dorian Finney-Smith, who played well and had great looks from deep, and Maxi Kleber and all the other guys. Because Porzingis was playing bad throughout the majority of the season. And if you're the second best player, you can't be playing that bad.
Yeah, man. He just has to have a bounce back, man. He just has to do something better because, Luka, as great as those other players around him are, Luka still needs help in terms of having that second firepower that he can rely on. Because look at this, the way Luka's playing, man. If he's going to be the majority of the offense, if he's going to be the major offense for majority of the nights, that's going to take a toll on him, man. Teams are going to beat down on him and stuff like that, and he's going to eventually wear himself out and get exhausted. So he needs somebody to back him up. No disrespect to Tim Hardaway. No disrespect to Dorian Finney-Smith. No disrespect to Josh Richardson. No disrespect to any of those guys. Porzingis has to be that. There's a reason why they got him. There's a reason why they traded for him. So he got to play better, man.
Well, yeah, they traded for him, but people are looking at Tim Hardaway now because of the way he's been playing this year, and in this series he's been playing spectacular. So hard-fought series by the Mavericks. Fortunately, it's the end of the road for them. 2 back-to-back first-round exits, 2 back-to-back losses to the Clippers in tough games.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like last year could have been argued if Porzingis was healthy and Porzingis was playing good in last year's bubble series. They could have went the other way. And this year, if Porzingis played good, I think they would have got this. But shout out to them. Play hard. Shout out to Luka. An amazing playoff performance once again. Yeah. He's just been spectacular to watch. Shout out to Tim Hardaway. Shout out to this whole Mavs team. For making it entertaining, giving the Clippers, they gave them their best. The Clippers didn't win a single home game. The Mavericks didn't either. But and this is a Clippers team that should have, like you said, they really shouldn't have been to a game 7 based off the talent the Clippers have.
Yeah.
But that's just how tough this Mavericks team is. That's just how great Luka is at 22.
Exactly.
So yes, smart. So I want to give him credit for that. But it is the Clippers, the Los Angeles Clippers, who do take this series. In this game, I want to give credit Marcus Morris, Terrence Mann, Paul George. Even though Paul George hasn't had the greatest scoring output in this entire series, he's been doing well scoring, but it's been everything else that he's been doing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think, and not enough people has been talking about. He's been a great rebounder for them. He's been a great defender for them. He's been a great playmaker for them.
Yeah.
He's been doing all the little things for this team. Even though he hasn't been having that, great scoring burst.
And I think that's what people going to keep trying to skip across, you know what I mean? Because they keep wanting to see him score. But it's just like, there's more things that you could do on the floor to help out your team rather than just score. Don't get me wrong, we would love to see him drop 40, right? We love to see him drop 40. But if you know that you got another star who's already doing that, and like, you could impact the game in so many ways because you're that great of a talent. Dang, go right out on the head. Like, you know what I mean? He's just doing everything, playing defense, playmaking, getting his team involved, grabbing rebounds, running the floor, making sure everything. Like, he's going to score from time. Don't forget, he had scoring bursts time to time. Don't forget, he had that first struggling first half, and then that second half, he had one of the games. Like, he's going to be him. Just stop focusing on the fact of what you look at in terms of what you see when you look at the points and the efficiency or whatsoever, and just look at what else he's done from the eye test standpoint.
Yeah. He had a great series from everything, despite the scoring category.
Yeah.
On the scoring category, Kawhi Leonard had a great series. And when the other guys needed to step up, Reggie Jackson been playing great this series, stepped up. Marcus Morris struggling this series, way to step up in the biggest game of the series, Game 7. He's come back. Luke Kennard, who's big in that third quarter run. Terrence Mann was big in the first half. So got to give credit to this team, got to give credit to the role players. And now Clippers moving on to face the number 1 seeded Utah Jazz. We will go over that second round matchup tomorrow's podcast. As for today, we mentioned scoring bursts. Mentioned Paul George in terms of the scoring bursts. Well, let's talk about someone who's been having an amazing scoring burst all throughout the playoffs. That is, of course, Trae Young, who's been on a scoring rampage since the first round against the Knicks. Now he's going to Philly to see what he can do against the Philadelphia 76ers. And Embiid did start in this game, and he did play. And he did play well.
Yeah.
Not that it mattered for a portion of the game, because to my shock and to most people's shock, the Hawks went on I don't even know what to say. I mean,
like this, they were dusting them.
Yes,
they were dusting them in that first. Yes. In those first 3 quarters, they were really like you want to talk about sweeping. They was sweeping the floor.
Trae Young got off to a hot start.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the rest of the Hawks got off to a hot start.
Exactly.
Trae Young has it going. He feeds off everybody. That man Clint Capella gets it going. The shooters around him, and boy, did the shooters come out. My God. Not only this Hawks team is so good because Trae Young was on the bench. Yeah. The Hawks had the lead. They had a good lead. Trae Young was on the bench, and the Hawks went on a 17-0 run.
Yeah.
Just straight shooting. Straight shooting. It was madness. Madness.
Which is crazy because we talked about last episode how, the Sixers, in our opinion, have better shooters, but I think this game has told us something. Is it equal now, or is the Sixers still a better shooting team? Well, in my opinion,
what it is like I said, the Knicks were a great three-point shooting team as well, but the Hawks are a great defending three-point shooting team.
Yeah.
And in this game, it was the same situation. Also, I think the Sixers took a lot of
ridiculous shots.
Yes. Shots that they maybe shouldn't have took. Also, they just couldn't hit their open shots when they needed to. A lot of Sixers struggled. Danny Green struggled. Tobias Harris struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben Simmons, even though he really didn't struggle, because in that third quarter, every time in the third quarter, because the Sixers were down by like 26
Yeah.
at one point. In the third quarter, they were trying their hardest to get back to the game. Every time they tried a little bit, every time they won, 5 straight points, the Hawks come back with 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Bogdanovich, John Collins, DeAndre Hunter didn't play. Herter played.
Yeah.
So Herter, John Collins, Trae Young, of course, Bogdanovich, shooters were out.
Yeah.
They was lighting them up. I mean, in the Sixers, every time they tried to do something, it was just a 3. It was just a silencer, and just nothing. They would inch to a 18-point deficit. The Hawks come back to a 25-point deficit with their shot making. And Ben Simmons, what I was trying to talk about was I was getting so frustrated with the way he was playing. Because he was great facilitating, and as we were going to get to later on, he was great defending. But when he was attacking, he was great.
Yeah.
He was drawing fouls. He was getting to the hoop. He was getting layups. But then sometimes he just stops. And they went to the 3, and they were just bricking.
Yeah.
I just wanted him to be more aggressive. I wanted him to take control, especially when M.B was on the bench in that start of the fourth quarter and some in that third quarter. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be aggressive because aggressive Ben Simmons can be dominant. Sometimes he just plays too passive. I hate when he does that. I hate when he does that. He needs to be more aggressive because he has that ability to take control. He has that finishing ability.
I agree with you big time, man. We have this conversation all the time when it comes to Ben Simmons. Like, you know what I mean? Like how great he is. Like, and how much he could do as a 6'10" point guard. Think about that. As a 6'10" point guard, we talk about how great he is in so many different levels. But the thing is that aggression level. Because, again, he plays like his personality at times, which is not really good. He plays laid back. But we've seen how he could be when he's being aggressive, like LeBron aggressive. You know what I mean? We know how much he can impact the game. Of course, I'm not saying he's Braun. Don't.
We know that.
But when he's playing at that aggressive level, like a LeBron James aggressive level, we see how legendary he could be. And the thing is, but there you go. You said it. He's on and off with it. And he did it in the game. I don't know why would he do it, but he did it in the game in which he was aggressive, trying to bring his team back into it. And then for some reason, just at a short moment, he stops and he realized, oh, shoot, we in a playoff game. And then he just turns it back up again. Like
oh, man. Yeah.
He's just great.
Want to give Ben Simmons credit as well because he played great defense.
Yeah.
And what I'm about to say, as I said, the Hawks were dominating the Sixers. And then slowly but surely, Sixers started to make some runs. Seth Curry was big time.
Yeah.
Defensively, Sixers started stepping up. Embiid, his knee looked fine to me because he was playing great.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely. And then Tobias Harris started to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, this is a 26-point lead down to 14, down to 12. And the Hawks still hitting their shots. Now they're trying to hit their shots, they realize.
Yeah.
Now the crowd's trying to get into it. And now this is about midway to the fourth quarter. And the Hawks think they have about a comfortable lead.
Yeah.
And they kind of sleep a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Sixers just, I don't even know what happened.
Yeah.
But the Sixers with all those players and their great intense defense because they play some great defense down the stretch. Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Embiid, Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons, yeah.
Definitely Ben Simmons. I mean, the trapping, the double teaming, the anticipating, they gave the Hawks a hard time. The Hawks really, that was when you can kind of see the inexperience of the Hawks.
Yeah.
Because then they started to turn the ball over. They started to get sloppy with the ball. And then, like, a 26-point lead came within single digits.
Yeah. And I was gonna allude to it, but again, we have to be honest. You just said the man to give credit to. I feel like Ben Simmons was the start of all of this, though. I really feel like he was the start of all this. You saw it a little bit in the third. Of course, they were still down by a lot, but you saw it a little bit in the third, and you eventually see, if he keeps playing like this and the team goes along with him, and mind you, again, this is with Embiid, their best player, with Embiid. But I'm saying if Ben Simmons keeps playing like this and the team goes along with it, we're going to see something brewing down in the fourth quarter. And Lord and behold, just like what you said, it started to just inch down, inches by inches by inches. It just started to go down each and every time in the passing lanes, double team, triple team, there. 3-point hit shot, them and be dominating the paint, and then they attack the paint whenever they want. I think Tyrese Maxey, he got a layup in the paint. Tobias Harris, he attacked time to time. Ben Simmons, obviously, attacked time. And then, lo and behold, 4-point game, tie game, opportunity. This is there for the taking now, after being down by so much. So you got to give Ben Simmons credit for that for sure. And that's where I like the fact that he turned back on that aggression.
And then the Sixers, they started to hit their shots. Embiid started to take over a little bit. Seth Curry hit some threes. And next thing you know, I mean, this is a one-possession game. From their defense, from their steals, from their trapping, from their scoring, from Embiid, from their three-point shooting of Curry, from Simmons. This was just wild. This was wild. The Hawks started to panic. They even got a 5-second violation. I mean, this was just crazy. But they were up by 3. And then Bogdanovich on a tough shot, on a great defensive possession by the Sixers as well.
Yeah.
Gets a big-time 3 less than a minute to go. Shh. And essentially ended the game, which I thought until the Sixers got down and made it into a one-possession game down by 2, but that was a little bit too late. They tried to trap and they had to foul, and Bogdanovich made both free throws, and that was game.
Yeah.
But I mean, what a wild game. Also, I didn't even mention that Herter. Do you see the pass that he had to John Collins? I don't know if do you see?
I missed that one.
It was late. It was when they were trapping, and this was big because they were down by 3. The Sixers was down by 3.
Yeah.
He trapped him. And Herter just in a double team just tossed it to John Collins, who's down court. Embiid had to damn near fly and jump to foul him.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about now. It's coming back to me.
That was big because that was dangerous. It was risky. That could have caused to a turnover. The Sixers could have
taken advantage. Yeah.
Yes, took advantage of that. He got to pass down court. Not only did it lead to that foul, it led to a clear path foul, which means 2 free throws and possession. That was big time. That was what also definitely put the nail in for the Hawks to essentially win the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, that can't happen. That cannot happen.
No.
That cannot happen for your Hawks. You're happy you got the win. Big game 1 win.
Yeah.
But that run that the Sixers did, that slow but surely methodical run from third to fourth quarter, that cannot happen.
No. Yeah, man. It's great that the fact that they were able to still a game on the road, you know what I mean? Like, you
Yes.
know, how they did, like, that's always important. And it was shocking because, again, we both had the Sixers taking this one, and they 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 they, they smashed that out the window. But like, you know, so even to find for the Hawks to even be in a situation in which, like, you know, they were winning was amazing. But yeah, you're right, that cannot happen. But hey, you alluded to it a little bit earlier. Inexperience. This is where they were starting to get exposed, things like that, because the Sixers have been in situations, probably not this specific team, but individually, these players have been in situations in which it's tough, in which they probably lost in the same way by other teams before in the past. They know how it is. So you know what? They're gonna change up. They're gonna use that strategy. They're gonna use that past weakness as a strength, and that's what they did to the Hawks. And the Hawks cannot make that happen. It's great, just like you said. It's great that they got the win, like, you know, shocking win, with an upset on the road. But if the Sixers doing this, not just imagine what the Sixers are going to do next game then.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, wow. But Sixers definitely got to play better in that first half.
Yeah.
They got to hit their threes. They can't be taking bad shots. Danny Green has to step up. Tobias Harris has to play better in the first half.
Yeah.
I would love to see Simmons be more aggressive. Bench has to step up better as well. I mean, Thibault played great, but, you know, these things can't happen. Also, got of that same intensity that they had in that fourth quarter defensively, that's just going to need to happen in every aspect of the game. First quarter, second quarter, third, and fourth.
Yeah.
As for the Hawks, I mean, just play how you played in that first quarter. I mean, that first half.
Yeah.
The threes were raining. I mean, they clearly can't stop high pick and roll between Trae Young and Clint, and neither could the Knicks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's either going to lead to a three-pointer, a floater, or a lob. So, Trae Young's IQ is off the charts in terms of him being able to draw fouls. Playmaking ability is unbelievable. I mean, scoring ability is unbelievable. So if they just keep that same formula that they had in that first half, stay calm, don't panic, because they kind of panicked in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Then they could steal the series.
Yeah, they can. It's shocking that we say that, but yes, they can if they stick to their game plan and follow the things that you do. Because I want to talk about another thing real quickly. Trae Young's confidence is through the roof.
Yeah, it's out of this world. It's out of this
world. And like, you know, I always knew he had that great amount of confidence in his abilities, of course, because he's that talented, he's that good. But I think your Knicks kind of exposed that good side right there. You guys gave it to him big time, and it's just like, man, he was not faced, he was not bothered, he was not tortured. And again, we said it. If you could go against a certain fans, like certain crowds in certain arenas, man, like MSG, the Boston Garden, LA itself, who
Philly.
else? Philly. Like, you know, if you could exactly Philly, if you could, like, you know, stuff, if you could able to play under the pressures of all of that, then man, you just keep on going. Just keep on going. And man, you're right. They could steal this series from them with the way his confidence is.
And mind you, this is his first playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's playing like this. He's remarkable. If you keep it up, yep, Hawks steal this series. But despite the Sixers' crazy attempt in that comeback, the Hawks do steal game one from them and now have a 1-0 series lead. All right. Predictions now for tonight's set of playoff games. First, starting off 7:30 TNT. Looking to bounce back from their game one loss. The Bucks in game two battle the Brooklyn Nets. No James Harden.
I still got the Nets.
Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. But I got the Bucks. I think I can bounce back in even the series.
Yeah.
And next up, it's the start of a series. Game 1, TNT. Possible this year's league MVP Nikola Jokic and his Denver Nuggets go to Phoenix, Arizona to battle the second-seeded Phoenix Suns. What do you have in Game 1, Ja?
The Valley of the Desert.
Yep, I got the Suns as well. Should be a great game to a great start to a great series. But all right. I think it's time to wrap things up, Ja. Final thoughts.
Luka's legendary. You know what I mean? He was the best player in that series. You know, I gotta emphasize that. The man did it with a smile. Like, you know, you don't hear that much about, like, you know, the best player being on the losing team. But hey, Luka was that, you know, again, with a smile. Porzingis has to bounce back. He has to show his true talent. We've seen it in New York. We've seen it a little bit so far with him being in Dallas. We just haven't seen it much, and he just needs to get back and try to blend in with Luka. And just a great steal by the Hawks, man. The great steal. What a way to win this game by the Hawks. Like, you know, it's just crazy because, again, I didn't expect this coming. I expected it to be a closer contest throughout the whole game instead of just last part of the game. But hey, again, underdogs. It's an underdog mentality thing. I think I know that the Hawks believe that a lot of people had them losing this first game outside of Hawks fans, of course. And for them to come into that building and just shock the Sixers fans in the Sixers arena and stuff like that is amazing.
Yep. Yeah, I see your point. Also, yeah, Mavericks. I know another disappointing season back to back, but don't get too down. Still have Luka Doncic.
Exactly.
See what y'all can do next year. That being said, thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, support the channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
And also follow IG and our TikTok down in the description below.
Yes, and once again, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
This is My Basketball Podcast.
Playoff edition.